Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Libra. And our card tonight is the 10 of Cups. A perfect card of balance for Libra. The perfect energy. All right, let's go ahead and see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay, so I want to start here. Now, on this side up here, it looks like we have a person on a horse, okay? So to me, I immediately feel like this has been quite a journey for you. This has taken some time. You know, it's not like you just jumped in a plane and flew your way over. No, this has been, you know, day in and day out for quite a while. And I feel like this is happening in that emotional realm, okay? And I feel like this has to do, and we'll go down here, we have a person sitting, kind of sitting here. You can see kind of the head and the body and kind of sitting against, and it looks to me kind of like a lion laying down, and you can only really see the head and maybe part of the upper body. But this person is sitting right next to that lion, okay? And then above, we have a person sitting. Right here, you can see the head and the body, and the knees are bent there. Now, we have another person over here. Here's the head leaning upwards, or the chin up, right? Elevated, and a hand up, and there's kind of this flowy robe or dress. And you know, this energy feels a lot lighter than this energy over here. But, you know, what comes to mind is this feeling of trying to connect with family, maybe a mother, maybe a grandmother, or somebody who probably has been fairly difficult. We have, now if you can imagine in the Thoth deck, there's the Queen of Wands with the cheetah. Now I'm thinking of a lion here, but similar energy. So this is a person who has been through it. They've had a lot of changes in their life, a lot of like different chapters, and you might even look at their story and think like they've lived completely different lives. Like I don't even know who they were at different parts of their life. I don't know if I would even recognize them. So I feel like that's always been a little difficult for you, Libra, because you like to understand people. You like to understand the situation. You like to have all the facts kind of laid out so you can look at it and you can understand, how does this all work together? Well, when you have somebody who has gone through a lot and they've had maybe some trauma and difficult experiences and things that they don't want to kind of bring up from the past, it can almost feel like, they're secretive. They're hiding things. No, I think that it's just that, you know, they've been through a lot, and maybe not a very open person talking about, you know, where I come from, my family of origin, you know, where maybe they were married, like had a first husband or wife, and then that changed, and they, you know, they got divorced or separated or widowed or whatever, and then they had another family. Maybe you are a product of that second family. I don't know. But I feel like as you've gotten older, you've done this emotional kind of journey, traveling your life, right? Having your own experiences and ordeals. You are able to better look at this person and say, okay, I kind of get it. You know, I understand not wanting to talk about the difficult stuff, the traumas especially. And I feel like, you know, this is an opportunity to find some kind of, I don't know, closeness, wholeness, coming to an understanding, you know, maybe even some forgiveness. It can feel, I think, almost like a betrayal when you have somebody like a mother, like a father, a family member that you really care about, but they will not open themselves up to you in certain ways. You know, you maybe, if you can think about when you're in school, you're young, you're doing these family trees, and you know, your kid wants to know, or maybe you were a kid, right? You want to know all about where you come from. Well, you know, something happened. Maybe many things happened, and your parent doesn't want to talk about it. They don't want to share these details. They don't want to give you the stories about their childhood or, you know, whatever, how things went. And they guard you from that. They guard themselves from it. But it feels like a betrayal because there are all these people around you, these other children, other people in the world that you see living life, and they know their families. They have their families around them. They know who, you know, their grandparents are. They know who, you know, they know things about the past before they were born, and things that they're proud of, and so on, you know, and to live in that mystery can be, yeah, it can feel like, why won't you allow me to know about myself, about where, you know, where my elders come from, my ancestors, you know, how they lived, what was the story, how did we end up here, you know, whatever. But I feel that as you kind of trek on, and as your eyes have opened wider and wider and wider still, there's an understanding that, you know, for some people, things are so, maybe they're too horrific. Maybe too, you know, the pain is so all-consuming. Maybe they've put it in a room and they've walled it off. And that's not to say it's the best way to do it. And it's not to say that, you know, you as a being don't deserve to know something about yourself. But, you know, sometimes people just can't look at that past, their past. And so I feel, you know, there's a sense of trying to come to terms with it, and having some peace, right? Finding some peace. And maybe even discovering aspects of your life and realizing they did this to protect you. Because whatever it wasn't good. Whoever it had to do with wasn't in your best interest to know about. So, we also have this person sitting here, okay? And you can see this one down here that's sitting with the lion, kind of like the clothes are more, you know, bulky and maybe a bigger person. But then we have a person sitting up here and maybe more useful. So I wonder, you know, I see maybe even you have some of these behaviors yourself. Maybe there are parts of your life that, yeah, you have kind of put into a jar and like hidden away, right? Things that you don't want to look at, things that you don't want to share. Maybe you have kids yourself and there are parts of your life that you will skim over, things that you will not tell them. Family members you might not share any kind of information about. And, you know, you yourself begin to see this is why sometimes we have to do the hard thing. Sometimes we have to be the one to, you know, let somebody down, let our kids down, you know. I myself, I'm estranged from part of my family, and I don't know what I'll do when my daughter wants to know things. I have no idea. I've gone back and forth, you know. I mean, ideally, I would absolutely just never talk about it, you know. But I just don't know. I just don't know. And, you know, the older I get, the more people I've met in my life, there are a lot of people who just don't know anything about their families because of similar situations. You know, and often it's something that, you know, often it has to do with something really traumatic or, you know, abuse or circumstances that, you know, people kind of lost their connection and, or whatever, you know, it just, and, now it's kind of hard, right? It's kind of hard to hide the old family because there's the internet, right? Not like the old times where you could just kind of go and start over and have a different life completely. But, you know, I mean, I don't think this is an uncommon occurrence at all. It can feel like it, though. It absolutely can. You know, and I talk a lot about chosen family on my readings, and this is the reason why. Because I have a beautiful family, and they're all people that have been chosen, right? And have chosen me as well to be in their lives. And so, you know, there's so many different ways to have family, you know, and I think that's something we all have to remember as well. It's not always going to seem how it does in the movies or, you know, what we perceive of other people having, you know, that we don't have. Especially when you're young, because everything seems to be, well, you don't understand that everybody has troubles and not everything is perfect. Even if a family seems perfect, it doesn't, likely they are not. Likely not. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have an I up here. We also have 37. So it looks like we have L, V, E, and an O. So I feel like it's a jumbled love. Love. And that seems very prominent. I'm hoping my stomach doesn't growl. I'm getting very hungry. I'm filming during dinner time so I can go to bed early. I've been sick and I'm doing whatever I can to make sure I get enough sleep. So I came down after dinner got ready, and so I'm gonna eat afterwards. So let's see. We also have we have a person right here. It almost looks like a skeleton holding a scorpion. And then we have a person down here holding an arrow. So I almost kind of feel, oh, and then we have a ram right here. I almost kind of feel like you had maybe a relationship with a Scorpio person. I don't think it worked out though. I don't know that, I can't imagine really a Libra and a Scorpio being together. Although of course it happens, obviously. I don't know if you have been with a Scorpio as like a, you know, long-term relationship. How did that work for you? I would like to know. Or how is it working for you? You might still be together. But I also feel like now there's an Aries in the mix here. And I feel almost kind of like you are getting over, or healing, trying to heal from this relationship with the Scorpio. It feels like maybe it was something that was somebody you kept returning to. They're like that person in your life where you can be together and break up and get back together, and then you break up again, and then you're not together for years. Maybe you even have, you know, a different spouse and stuff, and then that maybe ends and you end up back together with this Scorpio person. It's just somebody who never fully leaves your life. And I just feel like you have really made an effort to kind of end that cycle. Now, I feel like there's an Aries energy, and I feel like maybe this is a person that you're maybe dating, or maybe you are married already, or you will be meeting this person. But interestingly, I feel like Aries and a Libra person would be such a great match. Just because I feel like you are really good at balancing people out, and who needs being balanced out more than an Aries? Well, maybe. They do need some balancing sometimes. But I do think that there's this, I don't know, almost like they bring this real dreamy quality to your like really kind of like you're kind of more, I mean, you're a very grounded person, but you have like this devotion to things. You are somebody who is like you get into like fandom, and when you find something you love, that's like your favorite thing, and you're devoted to it. And so somebody who's like an Aries, I can imagine the two of you just having a love affair that is just very profound, and being very dedicated to one another, a great loyalty in this kind of relationship. And so, you know, I do think also though you're taking your time, because this other thing that happened, it seems like it was very, I mean, it was very dramatic at times, and I feel like they hurt you. I feel like you were very hurt, and there was not a lot of loyalty there. Now, it was a good, passionate relationship at times. It felt good, anyways, and I feel like that's part of like what kept you. I'm not gonna say keeps you coming back. No, kept you coming back. But this one, I see also we have a dog in here, okay? You can see right in here. Here's the face and the ear and, yeah, the body. And I feel like, yeah, there's a loyalty here. There's a great loyalty with this person. And I even see the I and N, like I'm in, you know, fully in this thing. Now, here's the tricky thing, is when you're used to having kind of relationships where it's always ups and downs and very dramatic and yeah, passionate, but there's a lot of like fighting and falling out and longing and suffering and you know, great pleasure and, you know, whatever, it feels like you get so much attention from this person, the Scorpio person, but it's like a lot of it's really negative, but you'll take it because it's like it also is paired with this, with the good stuff too. And I feel like when you go from that to a relationship that's a lot more stable, somebody who like respects you and gives you your space when you maybe need it, and you know, doesn't kind of boundary stomp, and you know, they are devoted to you, but in a way that doesn't, they don't have to like say it all the time. They don't have to, you know, do these big grand gestures and things. It can almost feel like they're not really that into me. You know, do they actually love me? Because you're used to somebody that's erratic and volatile. And that starts to feel like, you know, this is what love is. It's really hot, 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 and cold, cold, cold. But when you have somebody who's way more like down the middle, and not, you know, look, an Aries person has their own fieriness, obviously. But I feel like usually anyways, there's a little more stability. And I feel like they, to some degree, are really focused on their own path, their own work, their own, maybe their self to a degree that can sometimes seem a little, self-involved. But I think that this isn't a bad thing. I think it gives you more space so you can focus on you instead of, trying to always, shape your life in a way that this other person, the Scorpion or Scorpio person, will be agreeable with, right? And I'm just glad for you that hopefully that's over, right? I feel like I understand it. I get it. But who wants to live like that? It is exhausting. Absolutely exhausting to have to deal with that kind of turmoil constantly. And I feel like that's really what it comes down to. You're really tired. Just absolutely tired of doing that back and forth, back and forth. And so let's take a look over here. We're going to see what else we have. We have a hawk. We also have a J, it looks like. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to get my phone really quick because I don't want to say this wrong. Yes, okay, so it is the Rook. And I was like, is that the right piece? The Rook. And what does the Rook mean? Well, it is a bird. I don't know the mythology of the Rook. It looks like a little castle. Could be a tower. The Rook is actually intended to emulate a chariot. All right, so we'll go with that. Quick travel. All right, so I'm sorry. Usually I have some experience. Now, I didn't want it to be a tower, and I'm just going to say that straight up. I don't want to read this as a tower. It kind of looks like one, but we will say it's the Rook. And so apparently the Googles say it's supposed to be, it could be a castle, a tower, or the chariot. Okay, so I'm going to take it as the chariot, and this is all about the hard work, right? Now we also had the hawk, which is on this side right here. And the hawk is very much like the Ace of Swords in my mind. This is a sign of using that beautiful brain of yours and, you know, kind of working out whatever problems, seeing things from a higher perspective. And I think this really fits in with what's going on here, is that you are trying to really kind of master some of these old behaviors, and they don't serve you, do they? And I think you know that. So kind of gaining this higher perspective so that you can move on and you can kind of live your life to the fullest. And this is a lot of work. We know the Chariot, synonymous with hard work, doing the dang thing, kind of powering through. And so, you know, I really do. I feel like this is a time where you're giving yourself a chance to be happy, more so than you ever have. And you're deciding intentionally, I'm going to do what it takes, because I'm not going to return to this, like, you know, this ill cycle of back and forth, up and down, you know, always feeling like something is wrong with me, or something is wrong with them, or something is wrong with us, or everything is perfect and then it's bad again. You know, just too much. Too much. And so stepping outside of that dynamic, it can feel very cold out there. But, you know, I think really allowing yourself the space and then meeting somebody different, or maybe you know them and it's kind of like finally there's a chance here to kind of do something with this, you know, and so, yeah, I see. We have the 10 of Cups, and it feels like everything kind of coming together in a way that maybe you didn't even know you wanted. But I feel like it's better than expected. So let's go ahead. We're going to look at the Wild Offering Oracle, a 52 card deck on giving it all to God. Okay, and we're just going to flip on through. Oops. We're going to flip on through here and stop where it feels right. Okay, and it says intention. Intention is simply allowing the will and the mind to align and move in harmony. May I always focus on the highest. My intention is that all God's wishes for me come true. Beautiful. May I always focus on the highest. All right, Libra, I'm going to go ahead and tell you thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love you. You usually, if you listen, you know, I always do that. I love you for, no, I thank you. I do. I thank you and I love you. And I appreciate you sharing your time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. And what else? I think that's it. I'm trying to think, what other news? What other news? Nothing really. I've been sick. We've been sick. My daughter and I, we've getting over the flu thing. And so I feel like I've just been in my own little nest in my bed trying to get over this. And thankfully she's starting to feel better and I'm feeling pretty good. You know, lots of Dayquil and that kind of thing to be able to get some stuff done. But today I felt better. I got up, I cleaned, I did chores, I, you know, started folding all the dang laundry and all that, and yeah, I feel a little bit more normal. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have any big news. I don't know. I just can't believe it's almost summer. It feels like summer already. So, absolutely enjoying that warmth here. So, Libra, I love you, and we'll talk in a couple days. Take care of yourself and enjoy yourself. Yeah, good night. I love you.